This conversation has brought us closer together.
We've become women out of it.
Yeah, we've really,
really
turned into women. Yeah. We've really grown.
This is where girls become women.
Yes. In this Bagel Bite, 150 episodes in, at age 34/35.
Yep.
This is where we become
Here we
women.
are.
Yeah. Separates the girls from the women.
Yeah.
Who can come together to find a middle ground in the war
That's the true test.
on Lucky Charms
and
marshmallow
we're
separation.
in battle, we go together.
They said that we'd grow out of it. Well, the joke's on them, that's just our brains. We're eccentric, loud, and stubborn, and most of our clothing is covered in stains. It's not a deficit of attention, there's just too much to think about. So if executive dysfunction becomes a little too much, if you forgot why you came in this room, or you're hypersensitive to touch, then put on your seamless socks and come join our little flock. Bitches stimming together, we're weirds of a feather, weirds of a feather.
Watching from afar, cock chair. Just a viewer on the side, cock chair. Cock chair. Cock chair.
And that was Cuck Chair.
Yeah. Brought to you by cocks and their chairs. When you're getting down to business and you want a silent watcher,
Observe from afar.
yeah, try cock chair.
Is physical touch too much for you? Try Cuck Chair.
Yeah, just watch out of sight, out of mind.
We can't put that on the podcast. This is how we lose all of our...
We always say that, and it hasn't happened yet.
It happened with Peter the Dolphin.
Well, that was more of an advertising issue than the listenership issue. I didn't hear any feedback from our listeners that they were upset. It was mostly the advertisers. If you have an issue with Peter the Dolphin or Cuck Chair, let us know at where'sthefeather@gmail.com. I feel like it's one of those things where the kids don't know what a cuck is, you know?
I feel like...
Kids, do you know what a cuck is?
No.
Ask your mom. Ask your moms.
No.
Have her explain it to you. Yeah. Ask your mom what a cuck chair is.
Don't. No.
Yeah.
No.
You could.
This is
kind of funny.
how we get off the air.
You're right.
Podbean's going to be like, no.
But Podbean will say yes. Please, more cuck chair.
It should be Podbean. You're beaming the podcast.
You know what? I agree, because what is
ether.
Podbean?
What is it? Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. I agree with you on that one.
Right?
Yeah.
Beam it out. Like, that's how the radio works.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Through beams.
Through beams. Yes.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Should we get on into this Bagel Bite now that we've debuted our new
Our
single,
new song,
Cuck Chair?
single. It's on the same album as Jimbo the Florida Man.
Yeah.
And Chef Santa.
Yeah. Brought to you by Synchronized Nightboat, which is, of
Our
course,
band.
as you know, our fictitious band.
One day
One day
we'll
make an album.
We're gonna learn how to play an instrument.
Yeah. Yin's ordering a keyboard that has like the light up keys to show where the chords
this
are.
Is it?
It's starting. It
Christopher
might be
can play
happening.
drums.
Great.
I call tambourine.
Yeah.
And
And kazoo.
kazoo.
You could do both at the same time.
I could. Yeah.
What should I do?
Well, you've got fiddle skills.
Not really. I think I've lost most of them. But I do want to jam on the keyboard, so.
Yeah, I think dual keyboardists.
Yeah. Yeah.
Keyboard eye.
Keyboard eye, please. Yeah. And I could speak, sing, a little slam poetry.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. One day.
I love this. It's
Yeah.
It's going to happen. Synchronized Night Boat. Yeah.
Look out for our album. I legitimately do want to do something with that because the name is incredible. We've got a lot of good songs in our arsenal.
A lot of good concepts of a song.
We do. Well, we did write Part-Time Helmet Baby.
We did.
We've written it. We just need to get in the recording booth. Part-time helmet baby, full-time friend. Your helmet keeps you safe and it reshapes your head.
I forgot.
Keep an eye out for Part-Time Helmet Baby.
Yeah.
That needs to,
the song of the summer.
Yeah, it could be.
It could be.
Did we just record the song of the summer? Part-Time Helmet Baby?
Coming to you.
Yeah, parentheses, full-time friend. All right, but maybe next next Friday when you come down, we should
Yeah.
legitimately record a few songs.
Absolutely.
Because
Yeah.
we worked really hard on Part-Time Helmet Baby, and I feel like the people need to hear it.
I do want to put Jimbo the Florida Man into action.
Yeah,
I think that's
really good.
I think we need to something.
Lay down that track.
I think we need to learn how to. I can learn banjo in a week, right?
Yeah, it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much do banjos cost?
A good amount. So they're pretty expensive. I say stick with the kazoo and the tambourine.
All right.
Stick with what you know.
Yeah. It's great.
Yeah, great.
Let's do it.
Great.
All right.
All right. Do we already say welcome to Words of a Feather?
No, we haven't even introduced a podcast or
AuDHD-Adjacent
anything.
podcast?
Yeah,
okay.
no,
Well,
yeah.
there you go.
Here we are.
Yeah, here we are.
That's Grace. I'm Kristen.
Yeah.
We're your hosts.
You know the drill.
We're talking about songs.
Yeah.
And
what are they?
What are they?
Yeah.
If you haven't realized by now, by the title of this episode while you're listening to it, it's a Bagel Bite.
It's a Bagel Bite. Welcome. Get your mouths ready.
Get your mouths ready. Prepare thy mouths.
Yeah.
For a little morsel.
Yeah.
Of bagel.
Cozy into your cuck chairs and get comfy. Get ready. I have a warm-up question for us.
Yeah.
Pet psychics. What are your thoughts? How do you feel about pet psychics?
I've never met one in person, but I would like to.
Same.
I fully believe in pet psychics. Human psychics, no.
I think human psychics are real. I just think there's a lot of grifters out there. I think, like with anything, obviously there are grifter pet psychics out there as well. Because, like, you could say anything. Like, yeah, they prefer the wet food.
I guess my thought is, like, anybody can be a fake human psychic, but animal specific, like, if you're going to fake being a psychic, why animal, right?
I feel like it's an easier grift.
Is it?
Yeah, because
I think it's a harder grift.
I think with humans, you can be like, is there a woman in your life whose name starts with K? And they'll be like, no, if you're just making shit up.
Yeah.
Whereas with a dog, you could be like, yeah, he really enjoys going on car rides at 6 p.m. Who's going to refute that?
I mean,
the dog? Right? Unless you bring like a legit pet psychic in that's like, actually, they prefer car rides at 4.
I want to go to a legit pet psychic. I want her to figure out my cat problems.
Yeah, you probably could. They probably have a lot of thoughts about how to manage the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cats probably.
The cats.
have a lot of thoughts.
My cats have lots of thoughts. They shout at me every morning. I just wish I could understand them.
Right?
Yeah.
Pet psychic.
Yes.
The most legit ones I've watched on TikTok, because they can do it like virtually over the phone. You don't have to do it in person.
How do they like, without looking at the pet?
They're communicating telepathically. I guess cats especially, because I feel like cats are mystical beings,
They
purr at a frequency that's healing.
Yeah.
They also, I guess, can like astral project, and they can like follow you.
Who said that?
The cat psychic. She
Which
said they
one?
Can. One of them. I think she's legit. They can like follow you in their minds. I think there's so much about animals that we do not understand. But so essentially, when you're in like the telepathy space. Also, I've been listening to the telepathy tapes. I don't know if you've heard of that, but it's about non-speaking autistic kids who communicate telepathically.
Whoa.
It's totally legit. It's like fully a thing. I think I've been holding back on like finishing the series because I know I'm going to have to talk about it nonstop.
Yeah.
So kind of want to wait, and I'll probably talk about it
for
in a future
Patreon.
episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's we could just talk about that.
It's fully legit, and I totally believe it. Like, I just think there's so much evidence about telepathy and it working that there's no way it isn't real. And I think it's just kind of along those same lines with pets, where you don't need to be in the same physical space in order to communicate. And so like the cat, like the woman, the pet psychic and the cat owner will be on the phone, but the psychic will be like telepathically communicating with the animal. But the cats especially seem very connected, and they have a lot of complaints and they have a lot of thoughts.
What if you hired a pet psychic, what would you want the pet psychic to convey to Lucy?
I literally have a list of questions in my phone.
Okay, what's your number one?
I want to ask her a lot of questions is the thing. Like, why do you do this? Why are you shouting at us? All the time?
That would be my question for Lucy too.
Like, why? Why do you bark?
But
let me pull up my questions.
Okay. Would you want to convey?
Well, I'm wondering like if I even need to convey, or if like I want to know how much she understands. If I need the pet psychic to communicate things to her, or if it's just like she fully understands what we're saying, she just has a lot of thoughts that we need to hear from her. I guess that would be my question.
I think one of the things I would ask John Ralphio is stop eating so much plastic. Stop eating plastic. I buy you so many toys.
So not a question, just a demand more so.
I buy him so many toys, and all he wants to do is eat plastic. Anything that like we get delivered or if someone leaves like a plastic bag out, he eats it. And I'm like, come on,
Ew.
man.
Yeah, why plastic,
Why?
I guess?
Why plastic? Boo, I would be like, why are you so mean to your sister? And Snickers is perfect. So I would just say that I love her. I love everything about her. And I hope she's happy living her life because my only hope is that she is happy.
I hope that for her as well.
Mm-hmm.
I can't find my list of questions, but I really wanted to ask Lucy because she has like joint problems and hip problems. I want to know like what could I do for her to help her with that? Like, can I massage you? Yeah. Can
Dog
I stretch
acupuncture?
you? Yeah. I have all those questions about like how can I help her get through her disgruntledness, I guess.
We'll take a poll. What would you ask your pet if you could hire a pet psychic?
Yeah. And what do you think they'd say? I guess,
What do
you know?
Yeah.
Like, do you think your animals would have a list of complaints? Because the one I watched with the cat had a lot of complaints where he was like, you're trying to groom me yourself. Stop it. You're not good at it. You need to take me to a real groomer. Why do you have to go on vacation? He had complaints about the 2 different girls that had been pet sitting for him while his owner was on vacation. He said they were okay. They were on their phones a lot and they didn't give me enough attention. Like he just had all these complaints.
So funny.
Yeah. I just feel like there's so much detail in the ones I've watched, which, you know, of course anyone can make anything up. But like from what I've seen, the owners are very much like, yes, that checks out. Yes, that makes sense. Like with very, very detailed things. I fully believe in it.
I think we need to hire a pet psychic.
Yes, I want to.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
I have so many pets. Do you think they do chickens?
Probably. They can
I
probably
want
talk
to
to
see
anything.
why is Princess Bubblegum such a bitch all the time? She's so mean to the other chickens and me.
She's being victimized by your chicken.
Yes, she keeps trying to poop on me. It's malicious.
Yeah.
You know, there's only
Sounds
so
like
many times it can be like an accident that she like directly aims for me.
Yeah, that sounds on purpose. Yeah, I'd love to hear listeners'
Yeah.
thoughts on pet psychics.
What would you ask a pet psychic, or what do you think? What would you want to know?
Yeah,
and then what do you think your pets would ask you?
Yeah, I'm kind of nervous about it, but I want to do it maybe for Ian's birthday. I'm going to book us a pet psychic.
Ooh,
that's see how it goes. Yeah,
that's such a great idea.
Right. All right. Should we get into some Lil Plishes?
Yeah, I'm warm.
Right.
I'm warm.
Me too.
Lil Plishes.
Kristen, what did you plish?
I have restarted something.
Nice.
I've restarted Christopher's vest.
Nice.
Which was supposed to be a Christmas gift.
It's March.
It's March.
It's almost April.
Almost April. Yeah. So I'm a little behind.
I am still working on actually my mother-in-law, Judy's lampshade that I also made her for Christmas. So you know what? I'm right in that boat alongside you.
Yeah.
And I'm still not done with it.
I was really struggling with one part. It became obviously more complicated than I thought it was going to be.
It always does.
Because I'm not using a pattern or anything. I'm just winging it.
No pattern?
No pattern.
Are you putting them together now?
They're put together.
Whoa.
But
you just figured out how to do that?
I mean, it's squares. It's a vest.
Yeah, but
it's
still.
not difficult.
I don't know.
There's no arms.
Kind of like maybe you have some intuition around clothing,
I come from
sewing. It's in your blood.
It's in my blood. I come from a long line of sewers.
You do, yeah.
I think I struggled, and then you know when you're struggling on a part and you just stop.
Story of my
That's
life.
exactly
all the
what
time.
happened.
Just
so,
abandon it.
Yep. So I stopped. And then I started again. I think I figured it out. I'm still working on it. And I'm hoping by putting this out into the ether, my goal and Christopher's goal is to have it done before Easter because he wants to wear it on Easter. Not that we even celebrate Easter. And I think I'm working Easter. So
just around the house, he just wants to have it on?
He wants to have it on. So
okay,
that is my hope and my plan.
It's nice to have a deadline.
Yeah, I needed a deadline.
You don't know when Easter is, though.
No, that's the other thing. Who knows?
There's no way to know.
There's no way to know when Easter is.
No, no possible way.
Yeah.
I don't know, mid-April, end of April?
I was
hoping
a couple
weeks.
I would know when Easter was because I was raised Catholic. I'm like, oh, it's in my blood to know when that is.
Yeah.
It's not.
No.
I was never meant to be a Catholic.
You don't need to know.
No.
No.
I mean, I do because that's my deadline.
That's true.
But I don't need to
look
know
it up
from
at some
like
point. A religious aspect.
Yeah, not from a religious aspect, but more so for like I need to finish this friggin' vest.
That's because that vest was disgusting. Yeah, it's nice to have a deadline.
Grace.
Yeah.
What did you accomplish?
I got rid of some furniture.
Hey!
Heyo! We had this big clunky armoire on the front porch.
Armoire.
That we literally just took in because our neighbor put it out for free, and we are trash gremlins, and so we always take free shit off the side of the road. So we're like, whoa, armoire, let's take it.
I think
we threw it on the front porch, and it's been there for a while. We don't really use it much. It was kind of just taking up space. So I posted it for free on Facebook Marketplace. Within the day, the woman sent her 2 sons to come pick it up. They were very nice boys.
And they're probably like, what the heck are we going to do with this?
Yeah. They were psyched about it. Armoire. They're going to use it for storage, and they were very excited about it, and they took it away.
That's lovely.
Yeah, really opened up the front porch. I'm trying to get it cleaned off.
I was fascinated by like what people take that's mine.
Yeah,
you know?
right? I was like, this isn't, no one's going to take this.
This is garbage.
Boom.
Done.
Less than an hour.
Remember that huge, when we were moving out of, you were probably in Vermont. When everybody was moving out of the apartment we all lived in Boston. Not your basement apartment.
Yeah, the nice one.
The nice one that was condemned the second we moved out of it.
Yeah, that nice one. Yeah. That lovely one atop the hill.
Yeah. And Emily had that giant armoire.
Table? Oh.
No, not the table.
How did she get that fucking table out?
I don't
Because
know.
she also had the biggest, thickest, heaviest table I've ever seen in my life.
Why are these girls buying heavy furniture when they live in apartments that are going to crumble to the ground in a minute?
And it was on the 3rd floor, and there was no elevator. And just like a very, very tight old staircase.
They're like buying West Elm. I was like, listen, we are not on a West Elm budget, girls.
No.
This is not a West Elm apartment.
No.
Despite how nice the curtains look.
Right?
They did have nice
curtains. Look nice
and
in
pillow
there.
shams. But she also bought that friggin' heavy armoire. And she left it there because there was no closet in that room. And so she's like, here. And that was nice until we all had to move out.
Yeah.
And then what do we do with this thing?
Chop it up, throw it
and
out the window.
I listed it on, because I was in grad school at the time, we had a little Facebook group. So I listed it on our Facebook group. I go, free if you can get it out of the apartment. And some girl hit me up immediately.
Great.
I was like, the thing's about 6,000 pounds. She's like, that won't be an issue. I was like, you're going to.
I'm very strong.
Yeah. This girl, she's like 90 pounds. She's part of the plastics. We had like a group of girls we called the plastics, which is mean, but that's kind of how they rolled. Anyway, so she's like 90 pounds and she's like, I'm going to bring a few friends. I was like, you need a lot of strong friends and probably a dolly and some ropes.
Bring your dollies.
And she brought her brother and that's it.
Oh.
And I was like, okay, all right, cool. I'm like, she's like, we'll be fine, like delusional. They try to move it. They're like, oh my God, this is a lot heavier.
Yeah. If like, only someone had warned you.
Yeah. They're like, we didn't think it was going to be this heavy. I was like, I literally told you it's like 1,000 million pounds.
The audacity.
I had to get, luckily, my roommate with her boyfriend were there at the time. And so they all helped. And it was like the 6 of us trying to help.
See, that sucks.
Right?
I was like, you have to help.
Now I just got to get it out of the apartment though, because it's got to go. And no one else is going to do the work on this. So I'm doing it. She's getting it out of there. It's fine. And then they like brought their Subaru. I'm like, I don't think that's going to fit in there. They're like, we're going to make it work. And they did somehow. And she's like, the hard thing is that I can't move in until like next Saturday. So I'm just going to leave it on the street for the week.
What?
And I'm like,
no, you're not. Who is this person?
Delusional.
Yes.
And I was like, you're just going to leave. She's like, yeah, I hope no one steals it. But it's free. So like, whatever. I was like, the thing is, luckily it didn't rain that week. And luckily, no one stole it because it was like 1,000 pounds. But people could have vandalized it. They could have peed on it. They could have done anything. And she just like left it in like Mission Hill for the week on the street.
Whoa.
And no one took it. And no one did anything. And
that is next level chaos.
Because
that's coming from me.
I reached out to her the next week because we were all like graduating and everything. And she's like, yeah, everything's fine. I was like, all right.
Great.
Yeah.
Talk about a last minute grace. That's even for me, I wouldn't do that. Because I'm not going to do all this fucking work to get this out of this third floor apartment.
Over an hour to move it. Just out of the apartment.
Yeah. I'm not going to risk someone stealing that just because it was free. It's like, well, you provided your labor. And is that not valuable to you?
I just needed it out of the apartment.
Yeah.
Because no one else was going to move it out of the apartment. And I didn't want to have to pay. I wanted my deposit back.
I don't blame you.
Which I don't even think I got. but that's fine.
which is crazy because it was literally condemned
Yeah.
after you moved out.
Right.
But yeah, that is a good way usually to get rid of things out of your house that you don't want to have to move, is just put it free. Just let people know you're going to need a pickup truck and a lot of muscles. But yeah, these boys just came and they carried it out and it was gone in like 5 minutes. You know, I just kind of supervise. So
that's nice.
list things is free. Yeah. It's a good way to get rid of stuff.
That's nice.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Well, let's
what are we talking about
keep
today?
moseying on in. We just kind of have a schmorg of a couple
We do have a little schmorg.
things, mostly
Little schmorg.
listener feedback, listener input, listener thoughts.
Yeah.
The one I wanted to start with, I can't remember who sent us this DM, the last podcast one.
Let me
Yeah, I want to know. Someone sent us a DM. Kristen's looking who it was,
I'm looking.
so I can give proper
Credit where
credit.
credit is due.
Yeah. But someone was shocked that I didn't know about the raccoon feast, because apparently they talked about it on Side Stories.
Ashley in Fairyland.
Yeah, she was surprised that I didn't know about the raccoon cookout story because they talked about it on last podcast on the left Side Stories. And she said, is Kristen listening to more last podcast than Grace is?
I am.
And yes, Ashley, you are right. She is, because I have somehow lost that hyperfocus / special interest.
Which is,
and,
this
it's
is like
devastating.
a 10-year-long running hyperfocus.
Yes. I discovered last podcast in 2016.
You're on their Patreon, right?
Yeah.
You listen to the Patreon.
I still pay for it. Yeah. Because I'm hoping I'll get it back. It's like absolutely devastating. I literally never thought that would happen. I thought like Henry would die first before I stopped listening of my own accord, you know? But I really...
It's like losing a friend.
It really is. It feels sad. And I was just kind of thinking about what causes these hyperfocuses to all of a sudden just like stop. And it is so devastating, and you want to get back into it. And like logically, you enjoy the content. Something about it is just there. You know, the same thing happened to me with my needlepoint, where it's just something about it. I just could not continue on. And I think it has to do with like building up shame around these things, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Like I really think when the whole Ben stuff happened on last podcast on the left.
I don't know if we can talk too in depth about it, right?
I think we can mention it. I mean, they talk about it.
There's a Ben situation.
Yeah, one of the original hosts, Ben,
was let go.
Yes, because of some abuse allegations and all this stuff. And he left the network, and they replaced him with Eddie, who's in their friend group, who I've always loved. He's absolutely delightful.
Fantastic.
I like him more than Ben. Like, I really enjoy his comedy. I like their dynamic of Marcus Henry and Eddie all together.
He's so precious.
Yes, and I'm very, very happy with the replacement. It's not about like, oh, well, Ben left. Like, Ben kind of sucked compared to everyone else. So like, I'm happy that they traded him out. But like, I think first of all, it feels heartbreaking. It felt like, you know, because I did have a lot invested in this dynamic of these friends.
Listening to them for years.
Yeah, it does feel like being deceived by an old friend.
Are hurt.
Yes, it's like when you think that a guy is your friend and then you find out that he was just like trying to hook up with you the whole time.
That's like the worst.
Yeah, and it's like you just look back on the whole relationship and you're like,
it's all a lie.
Yeah, it's like I thought we were genuine friends, and meanwhile you're just like trying to play grab ass with me, you know?
Right.
Like the whole friend zone thing is bullshit. So I think it's like that where I just feel kind of hurt, which is silly. It has nothing to do with me. But it felt kind of hurtful that it was like this person was deceiving everyone.
Because you very much have like a parasocial relationship with them.
Definitely,
too.
for sure.
Yeah.
And I also think I felt some shame around like, a long time ago in one of our episodes, I said that Ben would be who I would want to have on the podcast.
Yeah.
I mostly just said that because I thought he'd be the easiest, honestly.
Well,
because
but
he
also
talks about
he does
his ADHD.
talk about ADHD.
Yeah.
And he's so he would have been a great guest,
right?
On it. Not anymore.
Yeah, definitely not anymore. But I was, especially back then, I felt very uncomfortable about like labeling anyone ADHD who doesn't explicitly talk about ADHD. I wouldn't want to like invite them on the podcast unless I've heard them talk about ADHD.
Yeah.
Now it's different. And I think we've kind of expanded a good amount. Like we just had Kylie on who doesn't have ADHD, but we talked about like her different stuff that's maybe going on up there.
Here's my question. I don't know what a neurotypical is. I don't think I've met one before.
Yes, you have.
Who?
Ryan. Haley's husband, Ryan.
I think he's
neurotypical.
Okay. I don't think I've met anybody who's not only neurotypical, but not anxiety depressed. Because I feel like if you're neurotypical, you probably have depression. Because how boring is that?
I don't think that's true at all. I think there are lots of neurotypicals who don't have any mental health stuff.
Who?
Not people you're hanging out with.
I know. I want to meet one. And
I think they're like in the finance district.
We have to have one on the show because now every time I meet a new person, I just assume that they're one of us.
I just think the rates of neurodivergence are much, much, much higher than we think it is.
Yes.
And I don't think it's a matter of there's no such thing as a neurotypical. I truly, truly believe that
I just don't
some
think
people
we
are
know
neurotypical.
many.
Yeah, because
I think we know more.
Weirds of a feather. We're drawn to each other. And we're back. Although we're going to pretend that we never took this break, so you're still listening to Weirds of a Feather. Just thought we'd do a little reminder mid-episode, let you know.
Yep.
This is still us. We're still talking.
We're still here.
No, we just had to take a 4-hour-long break of recording this because we had our guest show up.
We had a guest show up.
And you'll hear part 1 of that episode next week. This is going to go in between Kylie's episodes and Ted's episodes.
A little refresh.
Little breaker up, you know?
I like that. I like it.
So this is the Bagel Bite that'll be in between. You guys know this because you're listening actively and you know. But next week, Ted's episode will come out. One of Kristen's co-workers, former boss. But until then, let's get back on track with this Bagel Bite.
Yeah.
Neurotypicals. That's what we were talking about.
What are they? Have you met one?
No one knows.
Apparently.
And like I said, yes. And I also just said, how many times have we had this conversation on the podcast? Probably so many times.
Mm-hmm.
Because you seem to be in denial.
I need to...
Who was it that told us? Priscilla. Her husband's neurotypical. Didn't she say?
He is, yeah.
So I think we got to get him on.
Yeah.
Got to get Ryan on.
I think
they're out there. They're just not usually for us. And we're not usually for them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But it's nice when those two people can come together and make it work. Like
true
Priscilla
power
and her
couple.
husband. Yeah. Anyways, back on track to special or hyper focuses and losing them because of shame. Yeah, I think we build up a lot of shame around these things that we love, like I did with the needlepoint too, where I loved it, but then I put a bunch of pressure on myself because then people started like wanting to commission pieces and I wanted to like make them for really special gifts and I wanted to make them really intricate and I just put so much on my plate. And then when I couldn't follow through because of ADHD, I felt so much shame around it that I feel like that honestly was like a big aspect of why all of a sudden needlepoint just like totally fell off for me and I couldn't get back into it. I think I just had built up so much shame around it. And that's how I feel about Last Podcast on the Left because every time I listen, I enjoy Eddie, but I'm pissed that I named Ben as my person I'd have on the podcast because like, fuck you, Ben. You know?
Yeah.
And so every time I listen, I like start to feel shame around like, why did I choose, no offense, but why did I choose a straight white man as my person? I think I was truly just like lowest hanging fruit of like, he talks about ADHD. He seems like he would be up for anything. He'd probably be easy to get. But I should have said Keke Palmer. My new answer, I just want to update, is Keke Palmer. I would love to have Keke Palmer on.
I think she'd be great.
Right?
Yeah.
She'd be incredible. She's just so delightful and charming and funny and
I'll stick with my answer.
Yeah. All right.
Of Heather from Sinisterhood.
I think that's a good choice.
Yeah.
I'd also love to have Jackie Zabrowski on the podcast from page 7 of the Last Podcast Network.
And these are our dream guests that we're talking about.
Yeah, dream guests.
Dream guests. Yeah.
In like one of our earliest episodes about podcasting, we kind of talked about our dream guests, and I stupidly said Ben. But I think that's part of it for me.
I think at the time it wasn't bad. It just now we have more information.
Yeah, but I feel like this always happens. You put your trust in a celebrity, especially when they're male. Not always. Women do it too, but especially, I feel like for every man in Hollywood, it's like a matter of time until something bad comes out about them that they're like a secret monster, you know? So I just want to rewrite my answer. And maybe this will help me move past that shame, you know? I'm putting it on the pod. I want to redo my answer. Keke Palmer and Jackie Zabrowski would be my dream podcast guests. And I think those are doable. And Brooke from Brooke and Connor Make a Podcast.
That's
because
fair.
I fully believe she's one of us.
When
she was 5, she has OCD as well. She was convinced that she had caused 9/11 with like thought crimes. So
you should laugh at her. I'm sure she traumatized herself, but that's really funny.
I mean, she jokes about it, so I think she's able to laugh about it now. But yeah, I think it's a very, very funny thing for a child to be upset about. She was like devastated that she had was like convinced that she had
Blood
caused
is on
it.
my hands.
Yeah, truly. So I would love to have her on the podcast as well. But yeah, those are my new choices.
All right.
But anyways, yeah, I would love to hear, because I'm very like this kind of the last podcast thing, and it was Ashley, right? Ashley in Fairyland asking about me no longer listening to podcasts. It kind of got me thinking about this thing of, because we're always speculating of like, why do you just suddenly lose this hyperfocus or special interest that you've had for years and years and years, and all of a sudden just one day it's gone? And I just have been thinking more and more about how there must be some kind of shame associated with it. And I'm wondering, for those of you out there who have lost a special interest or a hyperfocus, do you think there was a shame component that kind of caused you to fall off? Like, what do you think it was that made you go from loving this thing to just like one day you couldn't look at it ever again?
We'll take a poll.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's a hyperfocus you lost and why?
Yeah. Do you think there's a shame component? Because I'm curious.
I don't know if there's enough characters to. If you have a long answer, just email or DM us.
Yeah.
And we'll share.
You could do one that's like, have you had like a devastating loss of a hyperfocus or special interest? And the next one could be,
why?
Do you think there was a shame component?
Okay.
Instead of why do you think there's a shame component? I'd love to hear people's answers. And the only other thing we want to talk about in this Bagel Bite, we have some Lucky Charms talk that we want to cover.
Guys.
We have to cover, apparently.
We have to. This is boop, 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 boop. It's up to date.
We're up to date.
We're up to date.
I did not realize just how many people would be siding with you on this, honestly.
I'm surprised that you're surprised, because my way is the right way.
It's the wrong way, but
it's not. So
my friend Lauren says she does the same thing. She does what you
as
do.
Me? Yes, because it's the right way. So if you're like, what the heck are they talking about? A couple weeks ago, we talked about Lucky Charms, and I was talking to my new best friend, Camilla Giovanna, on Instagram.
Camilla Giovanna!
and we were talking about Lucky Charms, and I asked her, did you eat all the regular cereal first and save the marshmallows for last, or were you normal? I think is how I phrased it.
Yeah.
And she said, oh my God, I thought I was the only one, basically. And which made me ask you, and then you were like,
there's only one right answer, and
right?
It's mine.
Like you lost your mind over this.
Yeah, and I stand by it.
I can't believe you do, but we've had a lot of input on this issue. How do you eat your Lucky Charms?
What an issue it is.
It is
hot button issue.
It is your issue. So I have two answers.
It's your issue.
It's your issue.
Our issue.
Everyone's siding with me.
You guys are all wrong.
Everyone's siding with me.
Well, some of you, I guess, don't have sensitive teeth like I do, because biting into the marshmallows alone hurts my teeth.
Well, get different teeth.
I am trying. I have 2 fake ones already, so I've already started my collection process. Do you know that my friend Tori, who was my roommate in grad school, maybe I've said this on the podcast before, I told her that I had fake teeth. She thought all my teeth were fake. Like, no. I can't remember how it came up when it was like years into our friendship, where she was like, yeah, don't you have all fake teeth? Like, what? Where did you know? Not at all. Anyways.
Sometimes I think it'd be easier to have fake teeth.
Yeah, but then you got to deal with like denture stuff.
Yeah,
you know,
put a denture in, but there's plenty of good stuff. There's like good denture creams out there. Then you just like let them.
But it's a whole thing you have to do now.
Yeah.
You know.
True. I guess it is easier if they're already attached. Maybe like veneers.
Yeah. No, don't get veneers. You out there listening, do not get veneers unless you really need them. But don't get the big, solid, white, goofy ones.
I guess
that looks crazy.
That does look crazy. It looks like dentures.
It looks like dentures.
Bad dentures.
Like Miley Cyrus's teeth. She can't even hold those things in her mouth. And she already had big teeth. So like, why are you getting bigger teeth?
But she does have
even bigger teeth. They're too big and they're too square and they're too white and they're too uniform looking. I like unique teeth.
Yeah, I think having unique teeth is great.
Yeah, adds character.
We have to stop talking about teeth. We got to talk about Lucky Charms.
Well, the teeth tie into the Lucky Charms because if you have sensitive teeth, then even just thinking about biting into the texture of the marshmallow, it's a sugary crunch, and I don't like that.
I love it.
I don't like that.
That's what I like.
I want a brittle crunch. I don't want kind of like it's like a hard, soft.
Like a crumbly crunch.
Yes, crumbly, hard, soft.
It's like a hard, soft Crumble-Crunch.
Yeah. Too sugary.
Episode title, a hard, soft Crumble-Crunch?
Yeah. That common texture.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you know the one.
Yeah,
I do
classic hard, soft Crumble-Crunch.
Yeah.
But we have a comment from Anna on Instagram. She's called Quack and Cheese, which is pretty funny.
Love that.
She says, "Hi, I've been listening to you guys for a while now, and I feel extremely compelled to weigh in on the subject of Lucky Charms." Yeah, because it's an important thing to talk about.
People are passionate.
All right? Yes, I love this. This is like the best type of DM to get.
We want your passion. We want you to like have strong opinions. Even if you're against my opinion, I want you to have a strong opinion.
Yes.
You know? Because then
it's recreational arguing.
I was going to say, then we get to recreationally argue. And isn't that fun?
It's my favorite thing to do.
Yep.
I love how you are strongly compelled to write in. I would answer the poll, but somehow my system is more specific than how specific you've already gotten with it.
Great.
Ha. Right?
Love specificity.
Yes. Yeah. Right?
Love now very specific food rules.
I got this DM and I was like, oh my God. And I feel bad because I haven't actually written back to her, but I was just like, save. Personally, I feel like you can't just eat the cereal without any marshmallows.
That's what I'm saying.
But with like four U's. But I also really like the marshmallows and must save the best for last. That's why I include one marshmallow in each bite of cereal and pick out the rest for the end. It's the only fair way. Of course, the best way is to just grab the box, eat only the marshmallows, and put it back. However, people tend to think that that's wasteful and inconsiderate of others, though so many people don't do that. So, one, there's a solution to that because now they make just the marshmallows box.
Yep.
Anna.
So you buy that.
Yeah.
But she's kind of like merging our two worlds.
Yeah.
She kind of gets the
I actually
best
really
of both
like
worlds.
her system.
I respect the system.
That's
you know
a good
what?
system.
Yeah.
So, one marshmallow per bite,
and
then save the rest for the end.
And that's the thing about the Lucky Charms ratio is because the marshmallows are so sugary, you don't need a ton to make the ratio correct.
Yeah.
In fact, you don't want too many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think her system is perfect. I have
right?
no notes.
Yeah. She kind of nullified this whole argument by being like, what if there's a middle ground?
Yeah. She should be a diplomat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very diplomatic answer.
She might already be a diplomat.
She might be the change we're looking for in the world.
Anna for president.
Yeah.
Quack and cheese.
Yeah.
2028.
Prez, yeah. Quack and cheese for prez.
Anyway, thanks for considering my opinions. This topic is starting to feel as controversial as the milk before after cereal argument.
That doesn't even seem like an argument to me.
Like
the fact that someone would put in milk before is like unhinged.
How do you measure
how much milk you need? Because what tells you how much milk you need is
how
by
much
the
cereal,
floatage of the cereal.
Exactly.
When it starts, because I only want a little milk. I want to see a minimal floatage and then I'm done.
It depends on the cereal.
It does depend on the cereal.
But yes.
You know what I got the other day from the grocery store because I was inspired by our cereal conversation is those Reese's peanut butter puffs. Not the Captain Crunch peanut butter crunch puffs.
The Craves?
The Reese's brand. Like Reese's peanut butter cups. The Reese's ones that are like, some are peanut butter, some are chocolate puffs.
Are those good?
They're delicious. I'm eating them for dessert. I have it for dessert. My dessert cereal.
I love a good dessert cereal.
I love dessert cereal.
So great, but only for dessert. I don't like to eat it for breakfast. It's too much sugar.
Same, it's too much sugar. I got Raisin Bran for if I need in the morning because it's got good fiber and it's not.
It does have good fiber,
right? And it's not super yummy.
I do love the raisins and raisins. Something about Raisin Bran raisins. They're better than regular raisins.
They're covered in like sugar. I feel like
that's probably why.
It's the sugar. That's what you like is the sugar.
I
think we just cracked the case.
I'm like, why are these raisins so much better than the regular raisins that I buy? I also not so secretly love white raisins.
I also love white raisins.
Right.
I love green grapes.
I like green grapes and I like white raisins.
I agree. Do you have anything else? From
yeah,
that
I have another one. Sorry.
So, like, what's up? What's going on?
What's the deal?
Just like staring. What is the deal with white raisins?
I want a mixed bag of raisins. I want it sometimes purple, sometimes white.
I agree. Yeah. Why can't we have
mixed raisins?
Yeah.
Also, why can't we have mixed grapes? Sometimes I want...
that's a really good question.
Like maybe a small bunch of white and a small bunch of purple.
I feel like they have different vibes and different tastes and different textures.
Nothing is better than a good crunchy green grape.
I totally agree. Yeah,
there's nothing better.
It's so juicy.
Better than sex. Better than cocaine. Not that I've ever had cocaine.
But if you had.
But if I had, I would be like, I prefer a crunchy green, like the perfect crunch on a green, crisp, and it's like that but it's
Yep.
juicy.
I know
It's
exactly
like
what you're
that
talking about.
perfect crunchy. And I feel bad, but when you get one of those grapes, I can't help but eat really loudly
Yep.
and crunch. Like
You
I want
gotta
to
crunch.
emphasize the crunch, and
like
I'll go
stepping
in a
on a
different
leaf.
room just to eat. Yeah, I'm just like because I can't get enough of that crunchy grape. It's so crunchy.
I have certain foods that I really feel like need to be chewed with an open mouth.
Yes.
And so I will eat that separately away from Ian because I know it'll bother him, but I like have to eat this with my mouth
will bother
open.
Christopher.
Yeah.
So much, and I feel bad, but crunchy green grapes with that perfect crunch. You have to savor that crunch. Sometimes you just need to like really nom on it.
Yeah,
you know,
you got to crunch as many times as possible. Sometimes I'll take my front teeth and I'll do little crunches, little bites into it, and do it all the way down the grape. Yeah,
this is now the Grape Adjacent podcast.
Apparently, we're
There's
talking about grapes.
There's nothing better than a nice crispy green grape.
I'm glad we're on the same page because I feel like most people prefer purple grapes, and I feel like I'm kind of in the minority of loving green grapes.
I love green grapes.
I love green grapes.
If I'm in the store, I'm getting green grapes.
Always, 100% of the time. Ian likes purple grapes.
Purple grapes, I'll get every once in a while, and then I'm reminded, oh yeah, you don't like purple. You like purple grapes, but not as much as green grapes.
They're like bottom of the barrel fruit salad filler. You know, those
First
and
of all,
fucking melon.
That's
honeydew.
Honeydew
and green grapes, I feel like are bottom of the barrel fruit salad. I mean, purple grapes. Purple grapes and honeydew melon, I feel like, are bottom of the barrel fruit salad filler.
Well, I think only because the purple grapes that they use are like they're like soppy, soft purple grapes. And you're like, why?
Yeah, they do get soppy and soft.
I do love a good crunchy purple grape. But
same, but it's hard to find.
It's hard to find.
And I like the ones that have
a unicorn.
I like the texture of the ones with seeds in them, but I don't want to eat a grape with seeds in it.
Yes.
But I'll eat around it, but then it's like something else you have to do. So I'd just as soon have a green grape.
Have you ever made the mistake of buying one with seeds and not knowing and then popping that sucker in your mouth
have.
and you're like, no!
I just never expect it.
Yeah.
You know?
Who would have thought?
Who would have thunk
seeds?
it? Not for me.
Not for me.
No. All right, we should probably wrap down this conversation.
But Justina Boyer has something to say about Lucky Charms.
Lay it on me, Justina.
She said, I had my kids listen to this convo on the podcast. My mom had sent us 2 boxes of Lucky Charms for us for St. Patrick's Day. My youngest said she separates most of them. And my oldest definitely agrees with you, Grace.
Yes, got one.
Has to have both for the taste and does not save the marshmallows. As a kid, I separated them. As an adult, I hate it, but I like the chalky marshmallows, so I eat both at the same time.
Yep. All right, so there's another one in my corner.
It's a mixed bag.
Yeah. Different family dynamics. I think the cereal itself is more of like a taste vehicle where it's not bad. It's not like when you're eating trail mix and you have to eat the almonds and it's like fine.
I like the almond.
If they're just like boring roasted almonds with nothing on them, I'm like, I'll eat it if it's in the handful, but I don't enjoy it. Whereas with Lucky Charms, I feel like the cereal is very neutral. It's not like something you have to get through.
Yeah.
So I feel like the marshmallows only enhance the flavor. The marshmallows are the flavor. And then you can enjoy eating the cereal with the marshmallows in it because the marshmallows with the cereal kind of just creates this whole bite full of marshmallow flavor.
Agree to disagree.
Fine.
I want a big old spoonful of hard, soft crumble marshmallows.
No, it's hurting my teeth just thinking about it.
I love it. And you just kind of like bite down on it, you know?
All right, here's one more question. And we really have to wrap this up because we're at like 45 minutes.
Oh, shit.
Do you prefer the marshmallows soggy from the milk or dry? Do you want them dry? Are you picking them out dry? Or you're doing it in the bowl?
I'm not picking them out dry. They're in the bowl.
They're soggy.
They are soggy, but I eat it so fast because I'm a fast eater.
When you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It's true.
You're either the world's fastest eater or the world's slowest eater.
Yeah.
And your mom has to set a timer.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're fucking around.
Just fucking
not
around.
Focusing on your meal.
I know.
Always fucking around.
Oh, no. I eat. So with Lucky Charms, that's the cereal I eat quickly because you've got a time limit on those marshmallows.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because they get too soggy sometimes.
Yeah, and then all the color kind of leaking out in the milk. Yeah.
And then, so I think you get to a point where you have Sogfest on the outside.
Yeah.
Which is briefly uncomfortable. But then you have that hard, crispy crunch.
On the inside.
Hard Crumble-Crunch on the inside. And it's almost like what an experience.
That's one way to put it, I guess.
But if they get too soggy, then you're like, oh, this is ruined. But I don't mind a little bit of sog.
Okay.
But I don't want just dry marshmallows because that's too dry.
See, that is the true texture that like is making my teeth hurt just thinking about it. Biting into like dry, hurts my teeth. Dry marshmallows.
Just almost like a coating, a little dusting of milk to kind of just get that little outside. It's almost like when you make a steak and you pan fry it first and then you put it in the oven. So it has that crispy outside and then like a nice inside.
So you want to sear the marshmallow with milk, kind of.
Yes, but instead of searing, it's sogging. I want to sog the marshmallow with milk.
Yeah.
So it has that sog outside and then that nice crispy inside.
You know what? I don't agree with you, but I respect that you've thought about it a lot, and I respect how much thought you've put into it.
Thank
I have
you.
also put a lot of thought into my approach, and as long as you've put just as much thought into your approach, and you're not just doing it willy-nilly,
no,
I can respect it.
There's a thought process behind this.
Great. And I think this conversation has brought us closer together.
We've become
gotten us
women out of it.
Yeah, we've really,
really grown
turned into women. Yeah. We've really
This
grown.
is where
this
girls
episode.
become women.
Yes. In this Bagel Bite, 150 episodes in, at age 34/35.
Yep.
This is where we become
Here we
women.
are.
Yeah. Separates the girls from the women.
Yeah.
Who can come together to find a middle ground in the war
That's the true test.
on Lucky Charms
and
marshmallow separation?
In battle, we go together with Justina Boyer and Anna.
Yep. We've got warriors.
Together, hand in hand.
Yeah. This issue just may unite us.
It could not.
I hope so. It could tear us apart.
It could tear-
But you know what? We agree on green grapes, and I feel like that is a really important issue, and that makes me happy because we don't usually agree on a lot of
food-based things. Yeah.
So
Yeah, we have
that's
different food tastes.
Yeah.
And preferences.
Yeah, that's nice.
But that's okay. Everybody likes a good green grape.
No, everyone doesn't, and I think we'll find that after this episode.
I'm taking a poll.
Yeah, please, because I think you might be surprised.
Green
I mean,
versus
I hope
purple
people
grapes.
like green grapes, but
You know what's the
it's not my
worst
experience.
grape I've ever had?
Tell me.
The champagne grapes you get at Trader Joe's, and you're like, oh. Cute.
I've never had them.
I thought they were going to be tart because I was like, oh, these must be the grapes that they use to make champagne. I think it's
No.
champagne based on the color.
Oh.
And they're very sweet. And they're not crunchy. And I was
Oh.
very disappointed.
I need a crunch. Gotta have a crunch.
I was like, why? This is a waste of money and time.
Waste of time.
Wasted, my 5 minutes trying to eat these.
Honestly, what's the point?
I'll never get those 5 minutes back.
No, unfortunately, no.
No.
All right, and this has been a Bagel Bite. Thank you guys for joining. You can check us out on all the social media platforms. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok, and find us on YouTube. And you can join our Reddit group. You can email us at wordsofafeather@gmail.com. You can check out our Patreon for some bonus content. And that's it.
That's about it.
Yeah, that's about it. This has been a Bagel Bite.
Hope your mouth has been satisfied.
Yeah, I really hope your mouth is satisfied.